Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us. I'm Brittany Schaefer. Massachusetts is now less than a month away from the legalization of marijuana. The state is expecting numerous growing and retail facilities to open once July 1st arrives. And while some towns are preparing for recreational cannabis, others have banned it. Our Cam Jandro joins us live now with more. Cam.
Brittany, Blackstone Valley is made up of 11 towns in the southern part of central Massachusetts. And even in a small grouping of towns like that, there can be differing opinions when it comes to recreational marijuana. Take, for example, Millbury and Sutton, and they're right next to each other. The small collection of towns in the Blackstone Valley are preparing for the state's legalization of marijuana. Millbury initially had a moratorium postponing recreational pot shops, but town manager David Marciello says it was removed because of the potential financial impacts.
An impact fee of 3%, a tax on medical of 3%, and a tax on recreational of 3%. If you add those all together, that's a very significant amount of revenue that should come to the town.
Right next to Millbury is Sutton, a town which banned retail marijuana last month. Blackstone Valley Chamber of Commerce President and CEO Jeannie Hebert says there are concerns about the industry.
It may grow too quickly and they wouldn't be ready for the growth. So I think the regulation and maybe putting the brakes on a little bit.
The Attorney General's office reports roughly half of the state's cities and towns have a ban on marijuana. Hebert believes things will change once the idea of recreational marijuana isn't so new.
Right now it's the new kid in town and it's a novelty, but once it gets up and running, it'll be a business like any other business and it'll be regulated.
Both Marciello and Hebert say, like the rest of the state, towns in the Blackstone Valley are ready for legalized marijuana.
It wasn't going to be stopped whether we wanted it or didn't want it, so we took the most practical approach and said, it's happening, let's make this the best we can make it.
They realize that this is something that they're going to have to watch very closely and stay ahead of.
Now, Hebert says both Douglas and Millbury are online for facilities within the next year or so, and they'll sort of serve as a test for the rest of the Blackstone Valley. Brittany?
Thanks, Cam. Now to an update on a story we brought to you Thursday on a 4-hour search for teens in the Barry-Hubbardston area. 3 teens ran away from a residential school for boys with behavioral issues in Barry. Police say they were notified of the incident Wednesday night, 3 hours after the boys ran away from the Stetson school. Police searched the boys' room and found a detailed written manifesto with gang symbolism and a mission statement to locate drugs, guns, and other weapons. The notebook also contained instructions on how to make a bomb, commit carjackings, robberies, and evade police. The teens broke into at least 3 vehicles and stole several items before their capture Thursday afternoon. Deputy Chief James Bourdain says it was a serious issue.
Had they continued to be on the run, it's our belief that they would have continued along with their crime spree. These weren't just juveniles that were homesick and wanted to walk home. They are violent individuals and they did have a plan. So it was important that we put the word out and that we apprehend these individuals.
The 3 teens, ages 15 and 16, were taken into custody and arraigned today on several charges, including felony charges and larceny. A Worcester man is killed in a car accident early Friday morning when a wrong-way driver hit his vehicle head-on. Mass State Police say a 45-year-old woman was traveling north on the southbound side of Interstate 495 in Westford. She struck this car driven by a 35-year-old Worcester man. He was pronounced dead at the scene. The Westford woman sustained serious injuries. The reason the 45-year-old was driving on the wrong side of the highway is still under investigation. Heavy traffic this afternoon on the eastbound side of the Mass Pike in Auburn. According to Auburn police, the accident involved a motorcycle, motorhome, and a car. 4 people were taken to the hospital. No word yet on the extent of their injuries. It's a girl and she couldn't wait. Sterling paramedics help a woman deliver her baby while on the way to the hospital Friday. They were just minutes away but say everything went smoothly. Our Chandler Walsh spoke to the paramedics today. She joins us live now with the details. Chandler?
Brittany, it wasn't how the paramedics expected their day to go. One was on hour 37 of a 38-hour shift, and the other had just got in for the day. But this baby girl was ready for the world.
It was rewarding. It was a kind of a rush, an emotional rush as well to go through that.
Sterling firefighter paramedics describe the moment a healthy baby girl was born in their ambulance this morning. Jim Emerton and Jamison Shea responded to Sterling Nursery School when a woman went into labor after dropping off her first child.
We assessed the patient and realized that, delivery might be imminent, so we kind of put a hustle on and did what we had to do.
The call came in at 7:01, and by 7:24, the baby was born.
And the little girl was there, and she let us know, gave us a nice cry.
It was both men's first time delivering a baby in the back of a vehicle. They say they train for it and have special equipment on board. Emerton says they were prepared when the newborn came on I-290, just minutes away from UMass Memorial Medical Center.
It came time to work together. We all worked together, and it worked out. It worked out well.
The paramedics say delivering babies is not common for the department. Shay's had one other experience, driving the ambulance during a delivery years ago.
It was a little different this time because we were actively involved in the actual delivery. So it was a little bit more rewarding and a little bit more exciting.
Both paramedics say it wasn't the easiest thing to do in a moving vehicle, but they did their best to support the mom and held her hand when they could.
We deal with a lot of happy things and some sad things, and it was a real happy thing to get to do on a day like today.
Shay says the baby boy delivered while he was driving years ago still comes to the station every year on his birthday, and he hopes he gets to see this baby girl again too. Brittany?
Great story. Thank you, Chandler. Suicide rates are up in Massachusetts, according to the Center of Disease Control and Prevention. Since 1999, suicide numbers have increased by 35% in Massachusetts. The CDC report coming out the same week, 2 high-profile suicides took place, Kate Spade and Anthony Bourdain. St. Vincent Hospital says warning signs can include talking about wanting to die, insomnia, and losing interest in family and friends. For the second time this week, a celebrity has died of an apparent suicide. Celebrity chef and host of the TV show Parts Unknown, Anthony Bourdain, was found dead today in his hotel room in France. Bourdain is now being remembered here in the Bay State, where he had special ties. Malcolm Johnson has the details.
I'm Anthony Bourdain, and this is Raw Craft.
He's the gifted chef that took us across the globe and made us feel like we were at the dinner table with him.
I think Anthony Bourdain is one of the most memorable chefs I've ever met in my entire career.
Jason Santos, owner of several prominent Boston restaurants, like most, couldn't believe his friend and role model had taken his own life.
I don't think we'll ever know what really motivates somebody to take their own lives, but it's very, very sad.
I've had dinner at his restaurant. I've done a radio show with him. I think Tony's he's just larger than life.
It was just last year Bourdain sat down with our own Jackie Bruno to talk about foods he loved from right here in New England. Bourdain's career took him all over the world, but it all started in Provincetown. In 1972, he got a job as a dishwasher at the Lobster Pot.
17-year-old kid who was, crashing on a floor with a bunch of other summer renters who worked in restaurants and pizzerias. They got sick of my loafing and freeloading, and one of my housemates said, there's a job available.
And just as he loved food, people loved him for the many adventures he'd take us on.
Introduce different cultures and different worlds, different ways of being to other people, and I think that's a gift.
He was just like, let's go travel, let's have fun, try new things. I love that about him. He was just kind of his own guy.
And the list goes on when it comes to the characteristics that people loved about Bourdain. As we know, he had a career in the restaurant industry that spanned over 30 years. Reporting in Newton, I'm Malcolm Johnson, Worcester News Tonight.
A Worcester organization helping hundreds of veterans and their families needs help. Every year, Veterans Inc. holds their Stand Down event where veterans can come and receive services and donated items. This year, the organization is experiencing a shortage of sneakers and are asking the public to donate any brand new ones to help someone in need.
A lot of these people come from the homeless population, so good footwear is very hard for them to come by. It's very expensive, and if we can help them be more comfortable, we're happy to do that.
The sneakers can be donated at their Grove Street location anytime before the 15th.